Hi there, Kendra Tolbert here. I'm a registered dietitian and yoga teacher specializing in PCOS and fertility. And today, you and I are going to talk all about inositol. When I asked a little while ago what supplements you were most curious about and most interested in learning more about, quite a few of you, most of you, wanted to know more about inositol. It definitely is a supplement that piques people's curiosity and interest, so hopefully if you've had a question about inositol, I'll be answering it in this video. And for those of you who are dietetic students who reached out to me and wanted to know more about like the biochem and the physiology, head to the link in my bio if you're watching this on Instagram, or look down below if you're watching this on YouTube. I've created a blog post that goes into more of those sorts of details for you to take a look at. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right in. First up, what is inositol? Inositol is a group of sugar alcohols. There's actually 9 different types. The most common type is Myo-inositol, so that's the one that we find in our bodies in the highest concentration and in our food supply. Previously, we categorized inositol as a B vitamin. I believe it was vitamin B8 is what we once upon a time called it. But because our bodies can make it and we don't have to get it from external sources, it's not really an essential nutrient. So it's no longer categorized as a B vitamin. As a naturally occurring sugar alcohol, the highest concentrations are found in our plant-based foods. Things like beans, nuts, seeds, grains, and fruit. In addition to the inositol that our body makes from glucose and the inositol that we can get from food, we can also get inositol in from supplements. And the benefits that we'll be talking about in just a moment are based on supplementation of inositol for people with PCOS. It's a pretty long list of benefits, so let's get right into it. It has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity, it's been shown to drive down triglycerides and androgens. And androgens are what are behind a lot of the physical symptoms of PCOS that can make some people feel quite self-conscious, things like hirsutism and acne. It has also been shown to improve menstrual regularity, ovulation, and egg quality. In addition to all of those benefits, my clients have reported improvements in their cravings, improvements in their energy levels, and in their mood. Now, after hearing that list, you might be like, okay, just tell me how much and tell me which one to take. So that's what we're going to talk about now. Let's start with dosing. The therapeutic dose of inositol for people with PCOS is 2 grams to 4 grams. Now, most of my clients start off at 4 grams, but occasionally I'll start a client off at 2 grams and build up. I'll do that if they have a history of a sensitivity to sugar alcohols, if they're already on an insulin sensitizer like metformin, or if they have a history of hypoglycemia, low blood sugar. Of course, you always want to have a conversation with your healthcare team when deciding what supplements to take and how much of them to take, but these are the general guidelines. Originally, I hadn't planned to talk about brands, but quite a few of you who reached out to me asking about inositol actually named certain brands, and so I wanted to make it clear that there are lots of different brands of inositols. I tend to use the same 2 brands with my clients, and I'll share what those are in just a moment. So, if my client is going to be taking Myo-inositol alone, then I'll usually recommend that they take Jarrow. If my client will be taking Myo-inositol combined with D-chiro inositol in a 40:1 ratio, then I will typically recommend Theralogic's Ovasitol, which is the one that so many of you wanted to know more about. You might be wondering how I decide if a client should take Myo-inositol or Myo-inositol in combination with D-chiro inositol, and the truth is I'm not the one who decides. I let them decide that. Once upon a time, I used to think of Myo-inositol as incredibly inferior and almost ineffective when compared to Myo-inositol and D-chiro inositol combined. But when I took a look at the research, I changed my mind. Both Myo-inositol alone and Myo-inositol in combination with D-chiro inositol in that 40:1 ratio have great research and great results behind them. So both are viable options, and I really don't think we should kind of poo-poo on Myo-inositol when it's used alone. While we do have research that shows that myo-inositol in combination with D-chiro inositol can be more effective, that doesn't mean that myo-inositol alone is ineffective. Typically, my client will, use their budget to determine which one they're going to take. Myo-inositol alone tends to be less expensive, and myo and D-chiro in combination tends to be more expensive. A little bit earlier, I mentioned that if my client has a sensitivity to sugar alcohols, that I might start them off low and then slowly build up, which brings me to side effects associated with inositol use. Because it's a sugar alcohol, it is possible, and it does happen for some people, for inositol supplementation to cause all sorts of GI nasties. So tummy upset in general. Things like nausea, things like gas, and things like diarrhea. Now that doesn't happen to everyone, but it can happen, and so you want to be mindful of that. And since we just talked about side effects, it makes a lot of sense to now talk about safety. You might be wondering if it is safe for you to take inositol if you are pregnant, if you are breastfeeding, if you are trying to conceive, or if you are taking other medications or supplements. The answer to all of those, let's hold on to breastfeeding though, is yes, it is perfectly safe to take it while you're trying to conceive, while you are pregnant. I even recommend it during pregnancy because it has also been shown to reduce the risk of developing gestational diabetes. It is safe to take while taking things like metformin and other medications and other supplements. Now, back to the breastfeeding. To my knowledge, safety hasn't been established for use of inositol in breastfeeding or while breastfeeding, but I don't know that it's been proven to be unsafe either. So this is another reason why it's so important to have a conversation with your healthcare team and let them know which supplements you are taking. Okay, so I hope that I answered all of your questions about inositol. If I didn't, feel free to drop them below. If I can answer them, I will, and if I can't, I won't. And don't forget to go to the links below if you're on YouTube, or head to the link in my bio if you're watching this on Instagram for even more information about inositol. And I also included in that blog post a discount code for Theralogics if that's something that you want to explore. Okay, well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Be well, and bye for now.